pulled into Kelly's neighborhood. I am going to spend some time with my friend Kelly Zitlow, who I've known for over 12 years. And Kelly has been an inspiration to me and to many for a very, very long time. She is sunshine herself, filled with class and poise and professionalism. And I'm just so grateful to spend some time with her and do the Sunshine Warrior podcast. You look amazing.
So do you. Oh my gosh.
Your beautiful home.
I think you're getting younger.
I'm trying.
So let me take you on a tour.
Yes.
And then we'll sit down.
Look at your house. Oh my gosh. Yes, let's do it. Awesome. Your home's beautiful. How long have you been here?
Oh, we have been here. It will be 22 years next month. Nicholas was 1 year old when we moved in. Yes. So I know your daughter's in Oceanside. Have you guys been to Coronado?
Yes, I just saw that. That's amazing.
So we spent so many summers over the years with the kids, and I mean, it's, if you ask Nicholas.
What was your tie to there? Just once
It's
in
5.5 hours from Phoenix in the summer. So
Okay.
San Diego is just, you know, in the summer,
Right.
every Phoenician is there.
Yes, yes.
So, and the Dell is just a magic place.
It is,
It really
right?
is. Yeah. So, yeah.
Look at this house.
thank
Oh
you.
my goodness.
Thank you.
It's like the North Pole.
It is, you know,
Gorgeous. Did you do this by yourself?
I do.
On a ladder and everything?
On the ladder, yes.
So you must have a ton of parties here.
We like to entertain. Yeah. And
This
I
is a
really
great
get this
house
from my
for it.
mom. My mom was totally this way. So I think it just is in me innately. And actually when I'm decorating, I really feel close
Her
to
presence,
her.
yeah.
So,
It's so pretty.
yeah.
And it's a great entertainment space.
Thank you.
Look at you. Look at this spread. You're the entertainer girl, aren't you?
You know, I really like it.
I do too.
I
will
really
say that's
do.
been the hardest. Thank you. That has been the hardest thing about relocating to Tampa is starting all over with your girl crew. Because you know when you have girls and it's effortless. It's like, hey, come in your pajamas.
That's
bring,
right.
Bring something from the store. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
But you move somewhere new and you're like, I don't know anybody, so you have to start that friend group all
right.
over.
And you can't really invite people to be in their pajamas when you don't
know them.
That's like date number 2, you know?
No. Cheers. Thank you for welcoming me in your home.
Cheers. Thank you
good
so
to
much
see
for
you.
coming all the way from Florida.
I know, I'm excited.
Spend some time.
Pick your brain.
Pick your brain. I can't wait. You want some snacks or you want to give it a few minutes?
We'll give it a few minutes.
Okay.
Let's catch up.
So how long were you in real estate? And do you still hold your license?
I do.
You can't get it.
I can't get rid of
You
them.
can't shake it.
I got licensed in 1996, but I started in real estate at 18 as a receptionist. So I was 18, and then I was 26 when I got licensed, and I'm still licensed in Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, why would
There's a
you?
lot of referral fees,
Yeah.
referrals, and so
Yeah.
I call it my mad purse money. So when I get referral fees, my husband's like, add it to the purse collection. So, but yeah, I mean, it's good for me because when I speak and I travel, keeping my license, I still get all the updates and, can help people work through struggles, people I coach and stuff like that. So I don't know that I'll ever, I mean, it's too easy just to do your continuing ed online and keep them. And so for now, yeah. But yeah, I've been doing it 18, I'm 55, however many years that is. So yeah, long time.
I got in the mortgage business in April of 1996. So next year will be 30 years. I'm just like, how
So I've been licensed 30.
could that be?
that
Because I'm only like 42, which means I started when I was 12.
Do we have to be in our 40s? Can we be in our 30s?
I don't know.
We look really good.
I felt
think-
like 40 was good. That was a good run.
Yeah, 30s was rough. Kids small, long hours. Yeah. I think most of my lessons probably came in my 40s.
Yeah.
40s was
And
good.
finding your way, like, I got married to Dan at 27. We had Jack at 30. Nick, I was 35, and then, you know, the career just hit, and all of it, I think it was just a matter of just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure there was a lot of thriving there, although I always have had big dreams, you know, so I think that was, it was hard to manage it all, but.
Where do you think that dream resonated from? Was it watching others or just
I don't
something,
know. I really always had it. Even, you know, younger, I just always kind of felt like I wanted to take on the world and go and do big things and travel and learn and grow and meet interesting people. And I have always loved story.
Yeah.
And, you know, going back to when I was little, my mom would tell me stories before bed, and I would just look forward to those moments. And I'll be married 30 years next year, and Dan still tells me stories as I'm falling off to sleep. Like, I just love stories. He's like, I am fresh out of stories, sister.
No more stories,
I know.
sister.
I'm like, oh, come on. There's got to be something you watch, some documentary or something.
But I want to go back to something we were talking about, big dreams. Like, I just wish more women thought it was okay to have a dream of a big life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to apologize for being career driven or motivated by empowering and impacting other people and you know, being an inspiration for others. I mean, I love that you just always dreamed you wanted a big life.
Yeah. And I still do.
Yeah.
You know, I got a lot of things that I want to do, and the world I want to see, and, you know, the Sunshine Warrior is just my passion project, and it's been interesting to just do something that's so organic, and heck, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, you know, but
so good.
I just love to bring story and real life people doing incredible things or have gotten through challenging things or to a community that wants to learn and grow and be inspired and inspire each other.
Right.
And so that's really what this is about.
Well, and I think it's also a safe space, right?
Yes.
I think sometimes women fear sharing loss or failure because they feel like they'll be judged and you know, you're not strong or you're weak or you're a victim. And so I love that you give women a safe space to say, hey, I wasn't always this strong, or that I have struggled, or I was sneaking out of bed at night for my husband because I was addicted to my job, or, you know, all of the things, you know, that it's a safe space, that there's no judgment. And I don't know that we all have a place that we can do that. So you providing this space for women to come and have that safe space, I think is just brilliant. And I'm just so excited to be here.
Well, I believe that God just leads people and opens doors. And when you reached out, I'm like, oh my gosh, Kendra, it's been a million years. And I've always admired you. And I know that you're doing really exciting things, from kind of different from when I knew you, but really the same.
Yeah.
So
different arena.
Yeah. So you are tell me about your company.
Yeah, so Kendra Cooke Consulting, and it literally started with, I'm going to retire, and I think I'll write a book, take a gap year, and the gap year turned into the book, it released, and then the phone just started ringing, and it was like, hey, will you come and speak to this group and that group? I thought I was done coaching and consulting, but I created an LLC because I needed to for the IRS, and it just morphed into speaking. And then some ladies said, what if you did a retreat? So I brought 3 ladies to Tampa, and we sat on the beach, and I said, this is what I want to do, and what do you guys think? And they're like, yes, yes, yes. So I've been doing women's empowerment retreats. I do 2 a year. And from that, I've morphed into coaching some ladies, some mastermind ladies, and really helping them see bigger pictures and planning their vision and overcoming limiting beliefs that we've all had at some point in time.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, that's what I do. I speak, I do my retreats, and I do some coaching, mastermind coaching, and I love it. Life is grand.
So tell me about this TED Talk thing. Oh my gosh. I mean, that had to be so intimidating and exciting, and like, it would be scary for me.
All the
but
above.
yeah, how did it first come about?
Yeah. So, I mean, you apply for a TEDx.
Okay.
So, you know, TED Talk started long time ago, and then TEDx spun off. And so people become hosts of their TEDx platform. And
Okay.
so TEDx Lake Mary was where I did it. So I submitted my application. They received over 360 applications, and they do a vetting process. They get down to 30, and then those 30 interview with the coach that is going to be providing coaching. And then they go to 12. And so, and then it is a very regimented program preparing. And so 6 months of every other Saturday coaching for an hour and a half.
With their coach.
With their coach.
To ensure that you're ready for the stage.
Yes, and that you are following their platform. So there are a lot of rules and criteria to get in the talk. And so a lot of, no, you can't say that, try this, no, that doesn't work. And so for me, I will say at my age, it was probably the most challenging thing I've done in a long time, because I do speak all the time, but I speak from the heart. And I speak very interactive with the audience, and I read the audience very well, and I know if I need to shift or change or ask a question, and you can't do any of that. It's super scripted, it's memorized, and yes.
No,
no cue cards, no PowerPoint, no notes on your hand.
No ad-libbing either?
No,
no ad-libbing? You just have to stay.
And you memorize it.
Wow. So 6 months, and you just completed it about
a week ago today. Yeah, in Lake Mary, Florida. So I haven't even seen the video. So hopefully, I started and I was in good shape, and then in the middle I kind of blacked out, and then I know I finished really well. So I'm like, I need to see the video.
Can you just edit out that middle part?
Yeah, that middle part. But you know what? It was good for me. It was. It reminded me that sometimes you have to humble yourself, and you do. Just if you want to live a big life, you got to challenge yourself.
Absolutely.
And the growth comes in the comfortable zone, which I posted that on your Sunshine Warrior page today on your video, because I was watching on the plane. I'm like, gosh, that's where the growth comes, is when we are uncomfortable and we are challenged. And I mean, after you do something for a really long time, you just get really comfortable, and you're like, it's like secondhand nature.
Yeah.
And this was definitely not secondhand nature for me, but I am proud of myself for doing it. I'm a little nervous to watch it, but hopefully it'll impact a lot of people. It was about financial literacy for female entrepreneurs.
I love this.
Because I'm so passionate about knowing my financial struggles.
Right.
And knowing that women just shy away from having a money conversation. It is complicated and it is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'll let my husband take care of it, until the husband's not there, and then they're in a bad place. And that's usually when they come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm one bad month away from bankruptcy, or I can't take care of my family.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like there needs to be more conversations around teaching women about money. And so I love talking to people in spaces about money with people and not shying away from it and sharing my vulnerability.
Yeah. So. Did you think when you first got into coaching, which was 20 years ago?
Yes, I started being coached in 2006. I became a coach in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you think back then that you would be doing this now?
No, but I do remember my very first time to be exposed to it. I was like, this changed my life. I should probably pay it forward. It is super rewarding to see people work hard and get what they want and their life get changed. And so I love it. I mean, I would do it for free. I choose not to, but I do give a lot of free advice. But it is. I love to see the results more than anything.
Yeah. Well, we will get into your book, which I listened to, and then I got the physical. You have to do both, actually, because of your voice and the way you narrate it, and just knowing you and knowing some of your story, but I didn't know all of your story. I felt like just walking with a friend. Oh. So I was listening to it when I was walking in the mornings, and I was like, oh, it was good.
That's
the end was
challenge.
Great.
That's another challenge. Recording your own book, because you're emotional. And they want you to keep the same cadence.
Oh, I would be awful.
And so I cried, and he's like, we need to take a break. You need to go blow your nose. You need to get a cough drop. I mean, it's all the things. And you don't think about that when you're listening to somebody reading a book. You think, oh, that was a piece of cake. So I, booked my time in the studio to go record it. And then I was like, oh, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And then I followed it up with a TEDx talk. So this is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Look at you. Talk about growing. I love it. Well, Kendra, I cannot wait to dig into your book.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yes. Shall we go? So let's dig into the book.
Okay.
First, I really enjoyed the fact that you narrated it. So I felt like I was on a morning walk with Kendra. I was like, oh, it's my morning walk with my friend. It was so good. But there were some pivotal parts of that book that I did not know about you. And I've known about your struggle with being an overachiever, especially in your business. So kind of unpack that a little bit and share with our listeners your story that you share in the book about waking up in the middle of the night and cheating on your husband, but it's not with who you think.
Yeah, that's a good one. So for me, I came from a broken home. I think that's really where this story starts, and really struggled with being accepted my whole life. Didn't feel like I fit in with these people because their life was perfect, and didn't fit in with this group because they looked perfect. And so I'd always struggled with acceptance. And so when I got out into the real world, I wanted to be the best and I wanted to be accepted. And I thought, you know what, I'll outwork everybody. I have a great work ethic. My parents are both great workers, but how do I outwork them? And so it led me to an addiction of work. And so I was cheating on my husband with my job, quite honestly. And, you know, we don't know what we don't know until we get in a rut. And what I thought was a time management issue was really a money issue. And so I thought, you know, I don't know how to do my finances, so I'll ignore them. And I'll just keep working harder. And the longer I work, I'll just keep paying the debt off. And one big month, I'll take care of this debt. And it just evolved into an addiction of sneaking out of bed at night with my husband to go back to my office. And so burning the candle at both ends. And that was a second attempt of trying to save our marriage. And also be accepted. I wanted everybody to look at me and say, oh, I want to be the next Kendra Cooke, and I want to be number one. And so it all just kind of filtered into the same mission of being accepted. And unfortunately, it all eroded when a neighbor ratted me out and told my husband, he was a police officer, and he ratted me out and told my husband I worked a lot of hours, and that's how I got caught. And so from there, it was seeking help. Who can help me get this issue with my time management problem? And it wasn't time management at all. When you start taking layers back, it was fear of rejection. It was fear of failing. It was not being accepted. And at the end of the day, it was a money problem. And so I think for me, that was the big aha moment when I got into coaching, to realize that sometimes we think our problem is X, but when you start digging in, it's Y. And we've talked about this before, but limiting beliefs. You know, my limiting belief was I want to be accepted, and I think I can just work to get people's acceptance. But during that process, I was burying myself in debt.
Yeah. So the moment in the book where you say that Greg was there to receive you at 4 a.m. after, again, you know, going to work in the middle of the night, because leading up to that, he kind of gave you an ultimatum.
He did.
That said, hey, your priorities were out of whack.
Yes.
And so part of that response was, I got it. And you just didn't want him to know, but you were still going to do what you thought you had to do to be able to achieve what you wanted to achieve.
Right. And I think that's what happens to us. We think we can hide the issue and keep working, or hide the money and pay it off next month, or I'll figure a way around it. And sometimes we have to go through the struggle to get the solution. And mine was, I didn't want to address it. So I just kept going around. I'm like, I'll work more. I'll hire an assistant. I'll fire an assistant. I'll do, you know, and at the end of the day, I had to get to the root of the problem.
Yeah. So Greg forces the conversation.
Yeah.
What did it look like from that point to you actually uncovering what the real issue was? Was it months, years, weeks,
No,
days?
it was quick. He gave me an ultimatum, 30 days to fix the issue or he was out. And we had a small child, and the house that everybody wanted, and I drove the 430S Mercedes that I'd bought brand new off the showroom floor. And so, you know, God intervened, honestly. We went to a party across the street a few days after that ultimatum, and a young lady asked me if she could schedule a coffee with her boss, who was a lender. And as a realtor, I'm like, no, I don't need one more lender. And so the folks having the party asked me, would you just take the appointment? It would really help her. And she's a friend of my wife's. And I was like, okay, I'll do it for her. And the person that I met with was connected to a coaching program. And he brought a book in, and he didn't want to talk about that. He wanted to tell me everything that I didn't really care about. I just was intrigued by the book. And so he said, hey, I'm part of this coaching company. And I was like, I'm in. And I feel like that was a divine appointment, that within a few weeks, I went to this event. And again, I was telling him, I just work too many hours. I just work too many hours. I've got so much business. I just work too many hours. And The truth of the matter is way bigger than that. And so it was very quick. I went into coaching within a couple months after meeting that person, and I was not a good student. I was not willing to surrender. And I think that sometimes it takes the right messenger. And so I kept saying, I got this. I do it better. My way's better. I can't stop and learn. And so I was putting up these walls, and it was not getting better at home. And again, another little intervention. I was like, okay, I'm going to surrender. If we fall on our face, we fall on our face, but I've got to save my marriage. And I finally turned a corner and learned that there were other ways for me to get the release that I needed to save my marriage and my business. And that they had the answer. I just needed to embrace it.
I think there's so much in what you just said, but a piece of it reminds me of the facade, that people see what they see, and many times we're trying to maintain it when in fact it could be taking us in a direction we don't want to go, or that isn't really our essence.
100%.
And I think that so resonated in this book, and just you telling that story. So you fly in, I think it was California, to attend one of this initial coaching meeting. And you said it a few times in the book, you weren't sure that your credit card was going to actually eject the airfare, the rental car, the hotel, and then you had some crazy adventure where you flew into the wrong airport. And the whole time, I mean, are you sitting and thinking about, like, how am I going to sell this to Greg?
Yes. Well, he had no idea. I was in charge of the money. And so I think, I have it all figured out. The next month I have a big closing, I'll pay that off and nobody will ever know. But yes, it was a scarcity mindset of, we're one bad month away from bankruptcy. And I talk about that in the book. And that changed everything for me. I was number one in the company. I was Realtor of the Year. I drove the nicest car. My kid went to a private school. And if you would have opened my closet, all of the skeletons would have fallen out. Everybody wanted to pick my brain. And I was living a big fat lie.
Yeah.
A big fat lie. And so I called my husband. And mind you, this was before cell phones. We had a pager. Okay. And so I had to go to the hotel room and call my husband to tell him, as I'm sobbing, I'm a failure, I'm a fraud. And he gave me the best advice ever. He said, you can't afford to do it, and you can't afford not to do it. And that was all I needed. I'm still emotional, sorry. That was what I needed. I needed that validation that he accepted me, flaws and all, and that we would get through it. And so that partnership sent us on. I mean, we've been married 30 years, and put us on a path of, we're going to change this, and we're going to grow, and we're going to change the future of our kids. We're not going to let our kids go down the same path, and we're going to rip off the mask and wash our face and get raw and real. And that's when I decided to go into coaching. I'm like, I want to be the vulnerable one. I want to stand on the stage and say, hey, I've been one bad month away from bankruptcy, and I did live a lie, and we can all be forgiven for those things. And
so relatable.
Yeah. And so I think that was a big game changer for us.
Yeah. Coming clean.
Yes.
Not just with those around you, but with yourself.
Yes.
I think so many times we tell ourselves a story and we just keep telling ourselves a lie, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then pretty soon you don't know what the truth is,
Yes.
Yeah. So you enter into a very regimented coaching program. And you mentioned this word, which I love that you said it, but have you ever just signed up for something and you're like, I'm gonna do this new diet. I'm going to read this book and it's gonna change my life. And I'm gonna start this coaching program. I'm going to attend this webinar. I'm gonna do all these things. And then you don't follow through. And you don't follow through because you don't surrender,
right?
Or you don't believe.
Yeah.
You don't believe in it. So you don't surrender. Or you think you have it all figured out. So how long was it you're into this coaching program before you actually surrendered to the process?
Probably over a year. I literally had to continue to break everything down. And I had a coach at the time, and I love her so much. She's one of my biggest fans and best mentors I've ever had in my life. And she said to me, and I will share a very valid point, your standards are so high, nobody will ever live up to them.
Oh, that is powerful. Your standards are so high, nobody will ever live up to them.
And the issue was, I had a revolving door. I couldn't keep any help. I don't think my family liked me. I'm pretty sure I didn't like myself. And it was always someone else's fault. I was always blaming, I'm broke, I didn't get the listing, my husband, I had a fight, somebody quit. It was never my fault. And she said, I really think you need to get some counseling around lowering your standards because you can't even live up to the standards you have for yourself. And I was burning out. And I think that was probably the day that the doors flung open. I was like, okay, this is where I will surrender. She's been here. She's done this. She was a cancer survivor and she continued to work. And it was just the power of that, of realizing I don't have to be all things to all people. I just have to be myself. I just have to be me. And that was the door that went flying open for me with her and coaching.
And I think the female journey is, there's these decades. Let's just chunk them down to decades. And, we're on that back half of that, what that scope looks like now. But there's these decades and it's so easy to get caught up in what you're supposed to be doing. Or then you go to high school, you get a job, you're going to college, you're deciding, you're in a career, you get married, or you find a significant other that you want to be with. You decide to have children, you don't. Like, all of this stuff is happening along the way, and it is easy to get lost in the sauce. It really is. So what would you say? I know journaling was a big part of your life. Did that come about in the coaching phase, or was that pre-coaching?
Pre-coaching.
Okay. So at what point did you start to journal? And let's kind of dive into the impact that it's had on your journey.
Yeah, for me, it was when you're at the top of your game, I always felt like somebody was out to get me. And I think that was probably in my head, quite honestly. I don't know that somebody really was, but it was a place that I could go and there was no judgment. And so I could be raw and real. Hey, I feel very broken today. I feel very beat up. I feel sad. I feel happy. I'm proud of myself. As an entrepreneur, a lot of times we have to cheer ourselves on. Yeah. And so, sometimes you got to high five yourself because there is no one else standing at the door cheering you on to go to work every morning or go get your workout on or, make those prospecting calls. And so for me, that was a good place that I could go and be raw and real and a lot of struggles, but a lot of happiness too. And no judgment. I think sometimes as women, we feel like we can't celebrate or share success because we'll be judged or we'll be bragging or we'll be, whatever, and look like we're, better than somebody else. And it's not like that. Yeah. We should be able to celebrate our victories and help other people realize they can celebrate theirs too. I'm in a stage of my life, and we've been talking about this, is collaboration is the key word in my life right now. Whatever I'm doing, let's collaborate. Like, I don't have all the answers. I don't want all the answers.
I agree.
And I think that a lot of that started through journaling for sure.
Yeah. You said something, and I don't want to miss this. You wrote, I am proud of myself. And I think it doesn't matter your gender, but how often do human beings really write that? Right. How often do they say it? How often do they think it?
Right.
I think that for whatever reason, this human journey and the way that we're wired is to find the fault, to find where we're not good enough, to find, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. All of these things. And while that is part of the journey, I'm just convinced of it. That's where we learn. That's where we grow. I don't think we give ourselves enough credit and grace to say, gosh, that felt really good.
Yes.
So at what point, now you're kind of going through this, did you just start to feel that empowerment come over your life and your being?
I would say probably mid-40s. I think at that point I was like, had finally really gotten back on my spiritual walk, and I'm like, gosh, the Lord accepted me. He made me. I'm perfect. Why do I beat myself up, or why do I doubt something that's perfectly made? And I think that's the shift for me. I also realized at that point, my dreams and goals were enough. I didn't have to work for somebody else's approval. I wanted to create my own life by design. And I've spent the last 10 years really creating the life that I want, whether it's financial or accolades or changing lives or empowering women or writing a book. What are my goals? What are my dreams? What's the life I want to create? And I will tell you, it's been the most fulfilling journey because I'm not trying to please somebody else anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if my morals are high, my ethics are good, my moral compass is in the right direction, please ourselves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Tell us about a time that you encountered somebody that, didn't believe in you but needed you, and how you managed to work yourself through that. Because I know you're a pleaser. I suffer from people pleaser too. It's true. So less today than, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, but it's still part of my makeup. How did you navigate that?
I felt a calling on my life that I was supposed to impact other people and change lives and through my own experience. And so there are always going to be people that don't like us. There are always going to be people that are going to tear us down, that are jealous of us or insecure. And for me, it wasn't easy always. I think my big rock was my husband at home. And I could go home and vent and say, this happened. And he's like, what are you going to do about it? But I knew that I was changing lives in that season. So I was willing to endure the narcissism and the abuse, if you would, the verbal abuse, to touch so many other lives. And it was very fulfilling to know that one person could not stop me in my tracks.
Which in part was part of the journey.
Yeah.
You probably had to go through
Absolutely.
that to get to where you are today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you said 10 years ago, it started to, and you're still, doing the coaching and on stages across the country and impacting so many people, and you have. Where did you decide, you know what, I think it's time to take a leap? Because I think in our lives, sometimes we hold ourselves back from the next thing or truly who we want to evolve to be because of fear.
Right.
How did you work through that?
Honestly, it was a couple of things. Faith in myself, faith in the Lord, faith in myself, but also setting myself up for success. Going the extra mile for years and years and years, stockpiling money so that if I failed, okay, right? I think that we feel like if we fail, it's the end of the road. And I will tell you, I have fallen forward so many times and got back up and dusted myself up. So for me, I got myself in a position that I believed in myself. And if I fell, it would be okay. It would not be final. And that's really what I try to tell myself. Failure's not final. There's a lesson there.
Yes.
When you are uncomfortable, we grow, we change, and it's okay. I just think that we're at such a young age prepared and programmed to say, you can't fail, don't fail, you're being looked at, you're being judged. And for me, I have fallen and gotten back up so many times. So just bet on yourself. That's one of my favorite talks I do across the country is bet on yourself. Because at the end of the day, who else can you bet on, right? People disappoint us. Journeys get broken along the way. And I just think that if you can just bet on yourself, set yourself up for success, whether it's a business plan, writing your mission and vision, stockpiling a little bit of money till you're comfortable to walk out and do what you want to do, but create the life that you want.
We have a lot of mothers that are part of Sunshine Warrior. What would you tell your children that would infuse this thought about failure? Like, how did you, and how do you today convey that, hey, it's okay. Go run, go soar, go try things, leap. And also protect that motherly wanting to protect them. Like it's this balance of like, yes, go do that. But, and I think, honestly, I think as mothers, sometimes the but is the part that's the damaging part. Because the protection that we want to protect these babies. And then, sometimes words are said and probably it's not intentionally. So I don't know about you, but I feel like I definitely grew up with that. And I had amazing parents. But I still think that there were words or moments that came through that made me second guess myself. So as a mom, were you intentional about that, or has that changed over the course of the years?
Oh gosh, I feel like I've made plenty of mistakes in that arena too. I will say the gifts of your kids are getting them in goal setting early on and letting them celebrate little victories. So when they get to the bigger victories, you're more inclined to support those bigger ones because we know that they've already done some other things, and so, but no, I think my mom heart breaks every time my kid's heart breaks.
Oh,
And, but I do also want them to realize that, again, you're human. You're going to err, you're going to fail, somebody's going to disappoint you. And it's more about how you respond to that, failure and setback versus, the actual failure for me. If you're like, I'm never doing that again, I'm like, let's talk through that. What went well, what didn't? And so really coaching them. I think that's part of being a mom or a dad is we coach our children like we coach our employees. And so trusting that they have their, ideas and plan in place, and then help them execute it. And a lot of time on my knees in the floor praying.
Amen to that. Sometimes I'll just be like, oh God, give me grace to have this conversation.
Yes.
Or, help them to see what I see,
Right.
but maybe they don't see. And that doesn't just go for my children. I mean, that's just human beings. I think one of the things that I have struggled with is I see things in people that they can never imagine for themselves. And that's hard, when they feel that they can't or they won't. And, then they feel like they're disappointing me. And that's been a really interesting journey. So I really do try to listen and help people on their journey of identifying who they want to be.
Right.
And then support that. And in years past, running a team and having just amazing people in my life that want to know my thoughts, I would project like the vision of, oh my gosh, because I see this, a beautiful human spirit, and just you have a gift. But sometimes that wasn't helpful.
Right. And I would say that is a gift. That's that sunshine warrior in you, because I would not be sitting here if it wasn't for somebody seeing something in me when I was 18. I mean, I was going to law school. Let's be crystal clear. Realtor was never, I don't even know if I knew how to spell realtor when I was 18, but I was placed in a real estate office, at a desk, a receptionist desk. And so the owner saw something in me that I would have never seen in myself. And they're like, you're going to be a great realtor. I'm like, you're crazy. I'm going to be an attorney. I'm going to make a lot of money. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for seeing something in me. But, I think that that's a gift, right? When you can identify something in someone and encourage them along the way and say, hey, I will help empower you, and I will be here when you crash and burn to pick you back up. Because mentors and coaches, we have a huge responsibility to help people on their journey and find that gift that they have that they don't see, and empower them to pursue that. So you do that very well in your leadership role. And every time I've ever been around you, you do that with other people. But there aren't a lot of people that do that.
It's a fine balance, though,
It is.
of, the projection of what you see versus the projection of belief and helping them see.
Right.
And that has taken me a long time. And I loved coaching when I was in coaching, but even in my daytime job today, I get to do that. And it is so fulfilling. It just really, I believe, is in part why I'm here. So
I agree with that. That is your mission. Yes.
So fast forward, you have this book journal out and you cranked through this thing. How long did it take you to write it?
About 6 months.
Okay. So 6 months, but then you're doing other things too. You're doing some consulting, you're still on stages speaking, and this evolution of your mission comes about. So tell us a little bit about your TEDx. You were recently on the TEDx stage, but you're hosting events for women. And I love the fact that it really comes back to financial empowerment for women. Like that's your calling, which now it completely seems like so obvious with you knowing your story. And so kind of, let's dive into that.
Yeah, I think for me, coaching in a business level was great when I was in business. And as I stepped back, I was like, gosh, I have a lot of gifts that I learned through coaching and through business, but we need those in our everyday life, whether it's financial literacy, whether it's time management, whether it's empowering our kids, whether it's starting a business. And so I thought, you know what if I brought some women together on a small scale and said, hey, what do you think about this? And they were like, yes, yes, yes. So I started doing empowerment retreats for women, going on year 3. And I bring 16 ladies together and we lock ourselves in a beautiful mansion with a pool. And we do everything. We have a chef that lives in the house with us, cooks 3 healthy meals a day. And it's a lot of mastermind. I don't bring a ton of teaching or coaching. I bring a, arching view, and I throw it out and it just goes. And we have a special guest, and it's been incredible to watch women launch businesses, to get saved, to go back to a marriage that needed some work. I mean, there's just so much growth when women come together and we remove our mask and we remove the makeup and we just get raw and real and vulnerable. And so I'm loving that. The speaking, yes, I love talking about money, time, leads, betting on yourself. I have a whole talk around my book, which is embrace where you are, empower yourself to grow, and who do you want to become in the evolution of that. And so that's a fun one. Yeah. So in the TEDx stage was a blessing. You apply for a TEDx, and there's a lot of people that want to be on a TEDx stage, and that number is small. And I was blessed enough, and the talk was about financial literacy for female entrepreneurs.
And it's not out yet.
Not out yet. Any day now. Any day now. So,
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. As we kind of close out this, is there anything that you want to share or say to the Sunshine Warrior community, and just some nuggets as you get on a plane in a couple of hours and head back home to Florida?
I would just say, don't quit when you're tired, quit when you're done. And I know that sounds silly, and done it may take you 2 months or 2 years to do a project, but just because you didn't finish it in the time that you thought it was yours, don't quit on your dreams. I find women quit on our dreams when somebody says, oh, that's a terrible idea, or that'll never work. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm not quitting on my dreams ever. I hope that I can help change lives being vulnerable and honest and real. And this community has such a wonderful leader. Like, I was willing to hop on a plane yesterday and come here and fly home today because of who you are, and radiant and polished and premier friend, all the things, like just such a beautiful community. So I think all of us should continue to collaborate. Absolutely. And support each other and shine a light on women who are willing to give back and not shy away from that ever. You have a superpower, share it with the group, just like Kelly shares her superpower with us.
And Kendra, we have some exciting things going on with regard to this book. So we're actually going to do a giveaway.
Okay, perfect.
That'll be fun. So Kendra has agreed that she's going to sign 5 of these books, and we're going to do a drawing.
Okay.
So comment and just share with us one thought or takeaway or nugget that really inspired you during our talk today, and we will be sure to get this your way. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you so much.
To my Sunshine Warrior community, thank you so much for being on this journey with me and for lifting those around you up. We have a lot of frustration out there in social media today, and disagreement and separation, and that's not what this is. So if today you can be intentional about lifting one person up, I promise you it is going to make a big difference, not only in your life, but in their lives. It's the trickle-down effect. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you on the next podcast.